Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night, which means it's time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony.
What is going on, people?
And Tony, would you like to introduce our very special guest?
Sure. The writer, director, actress in the movie Hands of Hell, we have Gianna Lutz. Hopefully I said that right.
It's actually Gianna, but it's okay.
Okay. I mess up everybody's name all the time, so...
Well, it looks like Gianna, so I don't blame you.
It does. And what even the more embarrassing part is that the name of the production company, this, what is it, the Seventh Letter? It took me a while to realize that was a G.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what they mean by seventh letter. Then I'm like, let me count the letters. I'm like, oh yeah, G.
Yeah, I'm really deep.
Well, no, but still, like I don't know. I didn't realize it. It didn't dawn on me right away because I'm
a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people say, "Oh, is it like a God thing? Is it like a religious thing?" Because seven is like a godly number, religious number, and I was like,
oh no, the exact opposite of that. Yeah. Just real quick, Life is Pain is in the chat saying, "Welcome back, everyone. Hope all is good. Welcome." I'm going to say Gianna again because it's Gianna.
Gianna.
Okay. And then, yep, Mr. Mullet Man 21 is saying the same deal. But yeah, so obviously Tony had found this movie through Instagram, as he was saying before we went live. What struck you as something being like, Tony, you want to reach out? Like what made you, what caught you with this movie, Tony, that made you be like, I got to reach out. We got to do this.
Well, being a movie fan that I am, usually the one thing that always catches, especially being a blockbuster person, it was always the cover art to the movie that always catches my eye, and the cover art definitely caught it. And then I'm like, okay, let me see if this movie is, out. And then I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely something that would be up my alley, whether it's like a slasher or, and then I'm just like, let me add and reach out and see if she'll come on, because then I found out that you were the director, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's women in directing. You don't, especially horror movies, you don't see it all. You're seeing it a little bit more now,
which is good.
But before
awesome.
it was like not unheard of, but it was definitely not as prevalent. So I'm like, okay. So I had to definitely check it out because, it's to see the difference between how a female perspective is and a man. And then I'm like, okay, this is definitely up my alley. And then I contacted you, and Kate, you were excited to come on, which I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm like, this is definitely something I want everybody to check out and see for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I will agree with that. The whole women in direct. It's funny though. I had a watch party Saturday, and I had like a bunch of friends here, and halfway, like some of like the more dramatic, like lovey-dovey stuff, I sat there and I was like, God, a woman definitely wrote this movie. Because
I mean, at the same time too, though, like there's sexuality in the movie, but it's not like a typical, like, all right, that means everyone's naked, like, which I respect 100%. Some people don't. They're like, oh, where's the boobs? Where's the that? I respect the fact that it can still, you can have that overtone without having to make someone take all their clothes off.
I mean, I just think psychologically, there's a lot more sexuality behind mystery than when you leave nothing to the imagination, then it's like a quick and, oh, okay, now I see it. But if you are having to wonder, your brain is like, and then because you think about it for longer. So
Mhm.
when the movie's over, you're still thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. And for me personally, like it almost makes the movie a different kind of movie. Like if there's certain actresses that I don't think have ever done it, and to be honest with you, I would be disappointed if they did. But nothing against the actresses that have, like
Right.
nothing against them at all. But I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a fan of this actress and I'm a fan of this actress, but I'm like, it's not always warranted. It's not.
I agree.
I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure I'm probably one of the very few guys that may feel that way. But either way, it's still like very tense and it's very sexualized and stuff like that, but without having to push those boundaries, which I respected quite a bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. The what was I gonna say? So not only are you the writer, you're in the movie, you're also the director. How hard was that? This is your first feature that you're directing as well, right?
Correct. So it was pretty difficult. So we were working 12-hour days, all nights for it was a 14-day shoot. We had 2 days off, and we would start work around 6 p.m. and we would end, during daybreak, once we ran out of the darkness. And just people were tired, and I just remember just trying to keep motivation going. And out, like, the location where we filmed at, as you could see, it is like a motel. So like it almost turned into this like summer camp atmosphere. So like a lot of like the cast and crew, they started like wanting to just like do summer campy style, like type stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, hey guys, we're making a movie over here. Like don't forget that part. It was just one of those things where it was a lot. And then the movie is pretty brutal, I feel like, but the script is worse. I had to dial a lot back because we would lose actors because they were like, no, I can't do this. Or, like the shots just wouldn't work or something. So I would have to on the ball be like, okay, we're gonna rewrite it like this for a minute, and then or like this scene isn't working, so we got to change it up here. But I like that kind of stuff because I thrive under pressure. I always feel like the most accomplished when I go in with a plan, something disrupts it, I have to think quickly on my feet, and then it turns out better. That's like my favorite feeling in the world.
Nice. Well, that's pretty good. I can't imagine what you had to cut out. I mean,
oh yeah. Well, like that opening scene with the old lady, that was supposed to be a lot more intense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we had to cut a lot back.
Well, I'm sure too, like budgetary reasons too. I'm sure it would be way more expensive to have to do all that practical and all that stuff. But yeah, no, it's that's pretty intense that you had to cut a bunch from that because it is pretty brutal. But at the same time too, it's brutal, but there's also some implied stuff. You know what I mean?
That's where the 80s things come in. That's where I was trying to make, because like every movie, nowadays we're desensitized. We're so used to seeing every graphic detail. And I wanted to this movie isn't like a traditional movie in any sense of the way. The pacing is very fast. And I did that on purpose. And it's one of those things that because it's never been done before, people will be like, well, this is way too fast. This is way too fast. I want more of this. I want more of that. And I'm like, I know you do, but your attention span is short because we have social media now. And I like TikTok or constantly, most people can't even make it through a 30-second video before scrolling to the next video. So I purposefully did it this way because by the time you're just ready to pick your phone up or go do something else or check, it's on to the next scene. So you're like, oh, wait, now what's happening? And so I did that on purpose. But also I was like, well, I wanted to make it this 80s style. So I'm like, we're going to use a lot of sound effects and we're going to leave a lot to the imagination. And then we'll show you the aftermath later.
Right.
See if you
yeah, without ruining anything,
Right.
there's some implied killings
Hmm.
say towards the end of the movie
Mm.
that make me think like, huh, I wonder what's gonna happen next. But real quick, Sergio's in the chat room saying what's up. Sorry he was a little bit late. That's fine. And then we have Greg Turner putting out fries feels good. I don't know if I get that.
Fires.
Oh, fired. Jesus Christ.
I
It's been a long day.
think you're just craving French fries.
No, I'm not. But it's been a long. I stare at numbers all day long, and so after that, everything is just jumbled in my head. I'm also an idiot. But no. So this is available streaming pretty much everywhere right now, right?
Yeah. Amazon Prime, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes. If you have like cable networks, it's on Spectrum, Ubiquity, and Dish. Trying to think, there's did I say iTunes? I can't remember iTunes, but yeah.
All the major ones, at least.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And are you is there going to be a physical release of the just so Tony can add it to his shelf?
I don't think so. Like the distribution companies, they said no physical DVD releases. I will say though, like I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but in a couple months from now, it'll go onto a major streaming platform. We don't know which one yet, but like Hulu, Netflix, Shudder, something like HBO Max. But it's the distribution company has to make the deal with one of those companies. So
nice. That's good.
Oh yeah, that's. I'm very excited that it's out. Don't get me wrong, but I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, because it's you're like, oh yeah, you want to check out my movie? Yeah, just go to this place that everyone can go to.
Right.
That you already have. Like you don't have to pay anything extra.
Exactly.
Right there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So before this, you did a short. You've acted a bunch. Mm-hmm. Do you have the directing bug now, or do you think this is going to be something you're going to continue to focus on, or?
So I just had this conversation the other day where I said like directing is fun. I enjoy it, but I don't know. That's not a passion for me. And I realized that after this one. So I had directed my short film Behind the Smile that it won a bunch of awards. I also wrote it and starred in that one. I put it in a bunch of film festivals all over the world, and it won a bunch of awards. And that kind of gave me the courage that I needed to go out there. And I was like, okay, now I got this. I can direct and act and produce. I said, I started small. I needed to prove it to myself first, make sure that I wasn't biting off more than I could chew. And so then I went out and I did that. And I thought I did a really good job. I mean, I obviously have a lot to learn still. I mean, we all do when we're starting. I mean, even, Martin Scorsese, I'm sure he's still learning every time he does another movie.
You won't admit it, I'm sure, but.
Oh, no. But the reason I think I would keep doing it is because I love opportunity for growth all the time. And when you're directing, you have to learn every aspect. You have to learn how to light a scene. You have to learn the shots. You have to learn all the aspects of it. Whereas when you're acting, not so much. When you're producing, not so much. I like that aspect of it.
Well, I mean, especially on your first, feature length, you did a little bit of everything. You had multi hats. Now, if you just sat there and directed it, maybe you had like a different aspect as opposed to now I got my director's hat on, but now I got to act. So then I got to switch my mindset. And then, so probably, I mean, it was, a good job for doing a little bit of everything. And, maybe you'd have a different mindset if you just did one at a time or something.
Absolutely. I would prefer to do one at a time. I enjoy, like I said, I like working under pressure and I enjoy wearing multiple hats, but that was like too many. Even I know, like you don't spread yourself so thin because once you do that, it's going to start to crumble under you. I'm one of those people, I do well under pressure, but I was really struggling there at the end.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly honest.
I couldn't tell.
Thank you.
Turner, I'm going to try to not mispronounce any of these words. Being able to pivot and to think on your feet and come out clean in chaos feels great. Good vibes your way.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
But
Nice.
I do have the trailer that we'll play a little bit later because I know Sergio usually asks if we have a trailer. We do have a trailer. I'll play it around the halfway point. Excuse me. So as far as what got you started in acting and stuff like that, because you've been in a good handful of projects and you have some stuff coming out as well. So how did you get into this? Like what was there something specific that happened? They were like, you know what? I'm an actress now.
So sort of. Okay, I was in the Navy and I've always liked acting. I was in like drama and theater in school and whatnot. And I always try to ask my mom to take me to like auditions and stuff, and she would never do it because, you know, she didn't want her kid being in the industry, which now as a mom myself, I will never let my daughter be a child star. So I kind of like gave up on it. Plus, like so many people would tell me, oh, do you know how hard that is? That's almost impossible, blah, blah, blah. And I think for a while there, I let them convince me of that. So then I was in the Navy. I got out of the Navy. I met my ex-husband now, but we had our daughter. We were starting this family. I went back to college for marketing and I was like, I hate this. I hate this. Like, this is awful. This is not what I want to do with my life. I don't like working for other people. And I just remember being every day just like feeling very unfulfilled. So one day I came home and I was like, all right, you need to just sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do you want to do with your life? Even if it's the most crazy, like if you want to go to clown school, fine. But you got to be honest with yourself here. So I did. I said, I kept coming back to everything I've ever wanted to do or always wanted to do was entertaining. When I was a kid, I would put on little shows for my family. I love entertaining people. So I said, I'm doing this. I am doing this. So on my 28th birthday, I lived in New York at the time. My 28th birthday, I went into the city, got my first headshots. And when I'm one of those people, when I decide something, it's happening. So like no one will stop me. I am a freight train. And I mean, I just did I researched to the end of the internet about how to become an actor, what I needed to do. I'm also a very impatient person. And so it was like, well, you know, you need to have footage to get auditions, but you can't get the footage if you don't, you know, it's like a double-edged sword. And I was like, what am I supposed to do about this? You know, and I kept trying to like do these college films and then they would never give me my footage. And I was like, I'm done. I'm just going to write my own thing and I'm going to put a crew together. I'm going to get some actors together because I know there's people out there who are also in my shoes who are looking for the same thing. And so I wrote my first short film. And I got everybody to do everything for free. And I paid them in like breakfast and lunch. And so that's what spiraled it. Like that's what started. And then one night I was watching Fried Green Tomatoes and I was like, I have a really good idea for a period piece. So I wrote a short film based off a period piece. And I was like, I think I'm pretty good at this writing thing, which I always did really well in that area in school. So I did that. And then I was like, okay, well, I can't keep going with the short films. I gotta go bigger now. So I wrote a feature length Western. And about 6 months after I wrote it, I ended up selling it to a producer out in Texas. And that just skyrocketed my confidence as a writer through the roof. But that's where I met my business partner, was on that set. He's a huge horror fan. And he is the one that was like, horror's where it's at. We got to do horror movies. And so he had this idea for this movie, The Texas Witch, which is coming out soon, but it has a lot of special effects. So we're waiting while they edit that. And also our first editor tried to steal it, which was what I was going to say to you before when we were talking before. He tried to steal it and a bunch of extra money that we paid. But that's what I was trying to say about like taking people to court is so hard, especially in the
Expensive too.
entertainment.
All the money you're gonna spend to take someone to court. Be like, you stole my stuff. Like, nah, you're good. Oh, now we got nothing. And
Exactly.
no money.
So I said, well, I can't wait around for this movie to come out. It's, we got to do something else. We got to keep moving forward. We can't fall back. We got to pick ourselves up and just keep moving forward. And I was like, I really want to write something that's just graphic. It's just like a slasher that is just different. And I wanted a female lead, like a psychopath who. So it took me over a year to write this movie, which is the longest it's ever taken me to write a script, because every time I would write it, I would give Bianca a motive, whether it would be something happened to her in her childhood or with her husband or whatever. And I was like, no. So I'd rewrite the whole thing because I wanted her to not have a backstory. Well, a motive, a reason why she does this. She's just crazy. And I know I've read a couple reviews where people have been like, I would have liked some more backstory on her. And I'm like, I know you want that.
Wouldn't we all?
You don't get it. I know that's what you're used to. And I wanted to make something that was way different than what anyone was used to. And, it's funny and it's campy as hell. And it's not really to be taken super serious, but at the same time you can. I wanted it really easy to watch. It's very fast paced. I wanted to create something that hadn't been done before.
Nice. But then, of course, you can always take Ara Lehman, who did Ty West did Pearl and X, right?
Yes.
Where you can then when this movie gets the recognition it does, you can always make a separate movie with the whole backstory. So
exactly, that's when we talked about Hands of Hell 2 being more of a prequel. So that you get, with not to give like spoilers away and not whatnot, but when she talks about her past and how her and Zeke met and all that stuff, that in and of itself is a whole movie.
Yeah.
And so, and I did that stuff on purpose. I wrote the movie distinctly to be a franchise.
Right. So there's unanswered questions on purpose.
Correct.
Yeah. So I just have to ask too. I'm sure, I don't know if it's an inside joke or what, but what's the deal with Martha's Vineyard? Is it?
Not to offend any of the gays, but I was where's a place that gay guys would probably like?
I'm from Mass, so like I would have said Provincetown.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't know. It's just, I feel like this is.
But then again, most people wouldn't know Provincetown. People know Martha's Vineyard because that's actually Martha's Vineyard. I'm covering up my accent, by the way. It's Martha's Vineyard. That's how you say it. Martha's Vineyard.
I just thought it was like, that sounds bougie. That sounds luxury compared.
Oh, it is.
Like a huge juxtaposition to where they were.
Oh yeah, totally. And Martha's Vineyard, that's like the Clintons have a house in Martha's Vineyard, and like I think most presidents spend their summers there, like that kind of thing. Yes. But yeah, there's places in the area that are very, very much like, if you're that lifestyle, that's where you go. And to be honest with you, we've me and my wife have taken vacations to bed and breakfast at these places, and it's a fantastic time. Honestly, it's amazing. The restaurants are awesome. All the places are just really cool.
I pretty much nailed it, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. I just didn't know. Like, I was like, why Martha's Vineyard? I'm like, and I don't know. So, anyways, no, that answers my question.
That's why.
Now, because you had such an undertaking of having multi hats with the casting, did you work with them before? Did you know the actors before, or did you take it like that next step where you had new people and work with new people? Or
so the man that plays Detective Womack, the dark-haired detective, he's a very good friend of mine. He has been with me since my first movie. The man who is supposed to play Zeke is a really good actor friend of mine. He actually plays my boyfriend in The Texas Witch. He had a conflict with another acting job, so he had to turned down our offer to take that one. So, but then I don't like, so we put a bunch of TikTokers in the movie. So Tony, that plays Brett, the one that says Martha's Vineyard, he is a huge TikTok star. So he's in the movie. And then Kingery and Britton, they're also really big TikTok stars. So we put them in there because we were like, well, this would be great. You know, they've got a huge following. This is what they're trying to do with their lives. It's a step up for them in the right direction. And it's really good marketing and promotion for the movie built in. And then everybody else, it was auditions. But I'll tell you what, oh my God, do you know how many people we auditioned for these roles? Because they would read the script. After they would audition for it, we would offer them the role. But then I would say, before you accept the role, please read the script. And they would read the script and they're like, yeah, no, I can't. This is way too brutal.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, you must not be big horror fans.
I guess. I mean, I don't know, because I thought like, well, do you know who Biddy Schramm is?
I don't know.
She was in A League of Their Own. She was also the assistant on Monk for the first season.
Okay.
She was supposed to play the older woman in the beginning of the movie, and we had the contract signed and everything. But then she turned it down because we refused to go SAG with it. I have a really strong opinions about unions, like when it comes to SAG and stuff. And I was like, no, but, you know, we can work out a deal with her, you know, just like, let's negotiate. And her agent just was like, no. And I was like, okay.
Well, sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to stand your ground. It's your movie, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And that's the one thing too, we always mention how the feel of the movie, because I guess maybe they know each other from TikTok or something, because a lot of the times when you're watching a movie and, you know, you get actors and actresses that meet for the first time, like right beforehand, you could definitely tell there's not really much of a connection, especially in this one. We were talking about, you know, very not crazy sexual tension, but then in some scenes that were definitely like up close and personal.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you need to have some kind of, you know, knowledge of each other, I think, in some time, because sometimes you'll watch the movie and you're like, this just doesn't feel right or doesn't feel real at that. So in this movie, it definitely felt like they knew each other beforehand.
Well, it's really funny because no one did. They were all from all over the place. But because, like I was saying earlier, it had that summer camp feel to it, they were literally having the time of their lives in this, you know, podunk, middle of nowhere. I mean, you had to drive 35 minutes to Walmart. And I mean, like how he says in the movie, you know, we're 100 miles from the nearest town, and that town only had a Dollar General. I wasn't making that up. That was really how it was there. Like, it was crazy. There was barely any cell phone service out there. I mean, it truly looked like a horror movie when you would walk around at night. It was so creepy, but it really, it fed the whole vibe of the movie, the aesthetic and everything. We didn't really have to do any set design because it was made up for us. It was perfect.
Now, was everyone staying there?
Yep, in those rooms. Yep.
That's the one thing. As like, it's weird. I probably should have been paying attention to something else. I'm like, why are the air conditioners so low to the ground? Like, in my mind, I'm like, if I was a kid, they would have hated me because I would have just been pouring soda in the air conditioners. I would have been making a mess. It would have been horrible.
So apparently, the way that place is set up is all of the rooms are just trailers set in sideways. Oh. And I guess that's why the air conditioning unit is low to the ground like that.
Okay. It's normally up higher.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and they were older. They were like in the 80s, I think they were, which is fitting for, you know, maybe I should have just made the movie take place in the 80s. And then I could have avoided the whole cell phone thing and then all that.
No, I think because they were a little bit run down. So like, I think if you know, it makes more sense that they're run down and they're from the 80s.
Right. Right.
I think that the cell phone thing was a good choice. Like, I think we would all panic.
Yeah.
We're there and there's no cell service. Like, it's crazy. Like, I would be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't play Mario Kart. Oh my God.
My one girlfriend asked me at the watch party, she was like, so I have a question. how does she get cleaned up from all that blood so quickly before she moved on to the next person? I was like, it's a movie. That's all I know.
Movie magic.
Yeah. Like it's a movie. Don't pay attention to that. We don't.
They're also not a horror fan.
No, they're not. Most of my friends are not horror fans. But they all went and bought this movie and watched it. And I have the best friends in the whole world. They are so supportive of me.
Nice.
Well, that's good, because sometimes it's like, yeah, okay, congratulations, you did it, but I'm not gonna why. It's cool. Like, come on, at least you could, rent it or something.
I have friends I don't even tell things about. Like I was doing podcasts for a while before I told like really any of my friends about it, because I knew they were just gonna make fun of me. That's how they are. Aiden Palamo.
He's a TikToker. What's up, Aiden?
Yeah, and he's here because of Tony. Welcome, Aiden. Thank you very much. Yeah. Tony, I interrupted you. What were you going to say? And also, Sergio is asking if we have a trailer. We do have a trailer. I'll play it in a minute.
But because you said, you had to rewrite Bianca's storyline or whatever, did you have yourself in line for that character? You're like, maybe I'm the only one who could kind of play it, or
I knew I wanted to play
this is the coolest character. It's all me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and my business partner, when we were on set, he was like, I think it was probably like day 3 or 4. He was like, I don't think you're acting. Like, I feel like, I think this is like somebody.
You have a knife.
Yeah. He's like, I think this is somebody who lives way deep down inside of you that you're like, oh, the camera's on, I'll just let her out. And I was like, maybe.
A little bit. It's funny, you were talking about how people saw how like violent the script was, and they were like refusing to do it. I'm like, that would have sold me. Right? And like in the movie, people are like making out and all this other stuff, but that would be the thing that would stop me from doing the movie. Is that I'm like, can my wife be in the movie? Because I don't want to lose my wife.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. We had one girl turn down the role. The original girl that was supposed to play Stacy, I believe it was, and she turned down the role because we didn't have a, I think we're sex coordinators or whatever they're called, intimacy coordinators on set. And I have very strong opinions about that as a job. So I was like, okay. I was like, you're a grown woman. Like you can pretend with a man for a couple seconds on camera. It's not real. And if you have a problem, come to me. I'm the director. I will address it. I'm also the producer. I will make sure that you are comfortable at all times. Because what's going to happen if you have an intimacy coordinator? If there's an issue, they're going to have to go to the director or the producer and bring that as an issue. So you're cutting out a middleman.
Right. Yeah. If it's a giant budget movie, I would expect them to have these things because, they're going to spend the money on that stuff, and they're going to not spend it on something they should have, like an original script.
Right.
I'm not bitter about Hollywood.
Yeah, no.
I did happen to say a few not horrible things, but I had some choice words about the writer's strike. I'm just like, well, maybe they wouldn't have to strike if they had some original ideas. Yeah, but anyways, that's not everyone, but you know what I'm saying. Like, just keep remaking the same stuff. On that note, I do want to play the trailer. Sorry, that's a weird lead-in. Here's the trailer for Hands of Hell, which is streaming pretty much everywhere, for the most part, to like VOD kind of deal. And it's on Spectrum and a couple other cable companies as well. But yeah, here we go. We'll be right back in about 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen of the East Texas area, make sure to double check the locks on your doors tonight. 2 of Texas' most notorious murderers have escaped
to a killer weekend with great friends. Y'all ready? Ready.
Any reason to approach.
Hello?
That was weird. The owners. I could have sworn she said they were in their 60s. Who's being paranoid now?
Patrol found a prison guard dead by the fence.
Please, don't kill me.
This isn't funny, okay? I'm getting really freaked out. Anyone help! Just relax, baby. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
I mean, right? Come on. So yeah, that's the thing is because it's so fast paced and because of a lot, you really can't have too much in the trailer. But
Right.
that's enough, I would say. And that's that's the vibe of the movie too, like the whole way through.
I agree, but I also think people love to complain no matter what. And I always put my mindset there as it was. I felt really proud of this project. So that's what I decide is my terms of success. But again, I'm always looking to grow. But I watch, these studios put trailers out in the comments. Oh, well, thanks for putting the whole movie in the trailer. You
Exactly.
can't please everybody. So
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
just watch it or don't. I mean,
Well, that's why I know a lot of people say they try not to even watch the trailers because half the time, especially in these bigger budgets, it's like, okay, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this scene. And then you watch the movie, and I'm like,
It's not in
even
there.
the movie.
Yeah.
It's like what? That's one scene I wanted to see.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's not even in there, and it's like, okay, well, so keep it, short and get what you want out of it. And like you said, it's your project. You want to do it, and that's what you know. We always say it's like, okay, well, if you want to see something different, go make your own.
Exactly.
And that's why we have yet to make anything. So.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like there's movies that I've watched that I've generally just not liked. But at the same time, too, I can find something that I do enjoy in it. And like I can't until I've made a movie, I can't bash anyone's movie because I've never made a movie.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty judgy. So.
Don't get me wrong. Like that's but them actually successfully making a movie is something I've never been able to do. Just like I talk to people I look at numbers and I talk to people all day. And there's people that English is not their first language and they're constantly apologizing to me. And I'm like, you have zero reason to apologize to me.
Right.
Like I can barely speak and read English and you're speaking 2 languages. You got me. So,
I'm apologizing to you.
Exactly. Yeah. So Sergio's asking where he can see it. It's available like iTunes or Apple, whatever it's called.
Amazon Prime, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Xbox, and then if you have like cable, Dish, Spectrum, and Ubiquity.
Yep, and that's like a VOD, like video on demand. And you were saying that soon at some point there's it's going to be released onto a major streaming platform where it'll be included in your monthly bill. And Aiden's asking, he was wondering if oops, that was the wrong one. I will check it out on Prime. There you go. Life is Pain's the man.
Even if I hope you like it, but if you want to leave a review, that would be great. My ultimate goal is to get it trending on Amazon.
There you go. So Aiden's asking, he was wondering if you use GarageBand to make the music. You had someone who scored it, right?
Yeah, we had a score and post sound designer. So we had both people.
So yeah, I'm sure, I mean, probably something along the lines. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of sounds are kind of in multiple areas,
Right. Yeah. I don't know what he used. I mean, I know he uses his own instruments and plays, and then our post-production sound designer, I don't want to give anything away, but like he literally took a mallet and smashed like gourds and pumpkins.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the Foley work.
Yeah.
And that's something as well. Like it was noticeable in a good way.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's noticeable in a really bad way.
Yeah, I was really proud of the sound in this movie.
I'm trying to think. I saw something recently where it was actually it's a classic like movie, the movie White Zombie, and there's so many different releases of it. It's from like 32 or 34, something like that. There's so many different releases of it. The one that I watched, they redid some Foley work and it was done so poorly.
Oh,
It
wow.
was so bad. And it's a Bela Lugosi movie and everything. And I'm like, huh? Like, so the movie's called Hands of Hell. I just don't know why I was having a brain fart. Yep. And he'll say, Aiden's saying he'll check it out. Thank you, Aiden.
Because Aiden actually is, he's young and he's trying to make his own movies. So he's taking the bull by the horns too. And, doing exactly what, we want to do at such a young age. So
I will say there's so many hate. I mean, when we were trying to get our crew together. And we had a budget. We were paying these people good money for 2 weeks of work. And I mean, God, and we went on, like Facebook groups and stuff like that to post about the job openings and whatnot. And the amount of people are like, this isn't even a livable wage. Mind you, we're paying these people in 2 weeks. These people were making what an average American would only wish to make in a month. And that goes back to that whole thing. People are always going to complain about something. You have to just tune those people out. Like if this is something you're truly passionate about, something that it's a dream of yours, it's your goal, you cannot let those people get in the way. Because those are the people that I noticed. They'll get on and they'll be like, well, has anybody had any luck with this? And it's these same people who are very negative who, they can't get a distribution company. I know it says Redbox on ours, but Screen Media is our distribution company. They own Redbox. And, we got an advance on this movie, and that is almost unheard of nowadays, especially for an independent film. So we just kept going. We just kept pushing through it. I mean, if you want to take your negative comments don't get you anywhere. Right. You're still out of work.
And those are the people that
you don't have a paycheck in your pocket. All you have is a negative comment on Facebook.
Right. And those are the people that are going to be like, when someone does start making it, they're going to be like, oh yeah, lucky them. Like, well, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Who do they know? I'm like, no, they busted their butt. Remember, they were looking for people, and you're like, I can't live off that. Like,
exactly.
But then you get other people that want to do the craft that'll do it for free.
Right.
Just give me the room and board. We've had many of people on here that are like, the first couple things, it was they fed me on the set, and then just to get my face out there or get something under my belt or just practice. Mm-hmm. Some people who really want to do it, you start from the bottom, and some people want to get hot shotted at the top and then think they're, there are people that get that lucky that it's like, okay, they do one thing and but then, I think
very, very
in life. Yeah. I think in life you have to take those steps up to learn everything and then, be more appreciative of it.
Right.
I'll also say, and this is a huge piece of advice for any filmmaker starting out, because I think you don't see this coming until you experience it. And not a lot of people talk about this. But so on this set, our second AC just left, didn't tell us, just left the first day that we gave them off. And he told our DP that he was leaving. And our DP didn't tell us until 4:00 that afternoon. And within 4 hours, we had to find another second AC and get them to drive from Austin to East Texas, which is a very long drive, within that time frame. And we had to adjust our budget. We had to, we tried not to panic, but we were moving, you know what I mean? And so it's like one of those things where you have to be ready. You have to be on your toes all the time, because you never know what's going to happen. You can't predict people. A lot of people, it doesn't matter. People have very specific mindsets, and I will say, a lot of people have victim mindsets. So if they don't have everything exactly how they want it, then it's just, I can't do this, or it's not
for me syndrome. Yeah.
It's not about the great, people are narrow-minded. They don't have, they don't look at the grand picture. You know what I mean? Every person who is on this project, this is out there forever. And this one project could lead to somebody else seeing your work. And then they're like, I want that. That's an amazing shot. That's so creative. I want to talk to that person. But people don't think like that. People just think, oh, I'm just doing this right now. This is a paycheck for right now. And then, I'll just move on to the next thing. And there's not a lot of pride behind work nowadays. So that's
really unfortunate. There's a lot of people that, pretty much a majority of giant Hollywood actors started from absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. How many actors and actresses started with Trauma Entertainment?
Yeah.
And they've now are Sam Jackson,
Right.
So Aiden's asking, he's saying that he's always wanted to put his movie on iTunes, Prime Video, and more platforms, but doesn't know how to do it. So I think that's tough. You have to have some kind of distribution, don't you? Yeah. So Aiden, where's your stuff now? I would check it out for sure. Is it on YouTube? Is it on like Tubi? Because Tubi, from what I understand, I don't know if you need distribution to get on Tubi.
You don't. Film Hub. If he wants to go to Film Hub, it's a self-distribution, which I think, like, if depending on the project, what it is. If it's a short, I'm pretty sure you can put shorts on Tubi, or Film Hub will take shorts. But if you're just starting out and it's like a certain level and no distribution company will take it, I absolutely would say Film Hub, self-distribution, or put it on YouTube. If you can't get it out anywhere else, put it on YouTube. Get eyes on it. Get people seeing it.
Yep. And his stuff is on YouTube, so that's good.
Perfect.
Life is Pain is saying that you have a great mindset. So there you go. That's
the thing too.
Aiden,
we were talking about.
If you could comment your YouTube link, and I want to check it out. So that'd be cool. And yeah, I would recommend Tubi, because we've heard that Tubi actually pays out pretty good compared to some other places. So something to think about. I'm sorry, Tony.
Well, I was saying we were talking about, the haters and people leaving comments and stuff too. And that's the one thing that I learned from, I mentioned it many a times, but on this podcast, you learn, not that I was ever like a cynical critic. You're not a critic, because I never was. I would do reviews on YouTube, but doing this podcast, I learned a lot more than I never knew, because how many times that, especially with independent film, you have a certain amount of time and certain things happen and it's just out of control. A lot of the times you have to put out what you can put out. And I think a lot of the times people have no idea what goes on between, behind that's why they have that mentality, that like keyboard warrior mentality, where they think they know what they're talking about, but they have no idea. So a lot of the times it's like, and a lot of the guests that we had on, they're like, we could take criticism. Give us some criticism, not just the movie sucked. Why? Oh, because I didn't like it. Oh, because it's like, okay, give me something behind it that I can work on.
Criticism. I love constructive criticism. I mean, hey, it's a free country. You say whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's like, but how does that? So it's like one of those things where, okay, like you're saying, you hate it. Why? Well, why do you hate it? Like maybe the next movie around, I could really take that into consideration and say, you know what, this person made a really good point. Maybe I'll try this next time. But how can I fix something that you think is broken if you don't tell me why it's broken or how it's broken?
Right. Sergio's asking if it's on Netflix. It is not on Netflix currently. Like she said, it's at coming soon. It'll be released on one of the major streaming platforms. Just let us know, and we'll definitely throw it out there. And Aiden is saying that his YouTube channel is just A-Vid Films. So I will subscribe and I'll check that stuff out. And he's also saying, I'm figuring it out, but I might screen my movie at a local theater. There you go.
We did that for Hands of Hell. We had a premiere. We sold the theater out.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. I highly recommend doing that. If anybody could ever get an opportunity to do that and experience that, I would 100% say do that.
Yeah.
It's euphoric.
Yeah. I would be terrified. Like, so we, so through this show and like the podcast network that we're on, the Dorkening Podcast Network, we were attached somewhat to a movie that came out a little while back. And we did a documentary, like filming, like behind the scenes kind of stuff. And they screened it at some conventions. And the second it started playing, and I came on screen, I got up and walked out of the room. I couldn't.
So I did that. My business partner and I, we were not in there when the movie started because I was nervous and I was like, oh God, I don't know. But so we stood at the doorway of the theater and people started audibly reacting to the movie, like right off the bat. And I was like, oh, like I think it was like my reservations and like my insecurities a little bit right there coming out because I had never done this before. So, but once they started reacting exactly how I imagined it in my head when I wrote it, I was like, okay, now I want to go in. And then we did, and we sat there through it, and they literally reacted. Like they laughed when I wanted them to laugh. They gasped when I wanted them. Oh, like when they did, the scene where she has him tied up, that kill scene. That's my favorite reaction I get from every person that I watch it with.
Nice.
Well, with that one, I wanted a kill that had never been done before.
I was gonna say, like, even writing it, did you like get your inspiration? Like, were you watching some horror movies for like kill ideas, or are you just like, okay, I've never seen that before?
That direction, maybe not. I mean, I've seen
the opposite way around.
Yeah. And I mean, like, in the old like medieval times, they put like the head on a stake or something.
Right.
Like
I was thinking more of like Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th. I was thinking more like that way, but that's different. That's from underneath.
Right. And so originally that character was supposed to be electrocuted, and I was like, that's lame. No.
That's a better kill.
Yeah.
Unless you were able to get wicked graphic with the electrocution, the kill you did is where to go.
I agree. It's memorable. It's like, oh my God. And as a man, I can't imagine.
I'm just saying, as I age, had a annual physical recently. Let's just say, don't get older, guys. It sucks.
But I just it was one of the many rewrites of the movie, and I was pacing my living room, and I was like, no, this isn't good. This is not good. It's not memorable. It's not graphic. It's not Bianca. And I honestly, I cannot for the life of me think or remember what made me think of this. Maybe I'm just psychotic for real. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure why that went through my head, but I was like, oh, that's good.
It could have gone a couple different ways. It definitely could have gone a couple different ways. Well, yes and no, but yeah, I don't know. I don't want to explain too much.
Do you have a pool table in your house?
I do not. No.
Okay. I was going to say, looking around, it's like, oh, okay, I got it.
Eden's asking if we've heard of the back rooms. I don't know what that is. We haven't. Sorry. But while he maybe is typing about that, it is about time that we wrap up. So where can people go to keep up to date with what's going on with the movie and other projects, stuff like that? Because I'm sure you'll post when it's on a major platform and stuff too, so Sergio can know.
Yeah. So you can either follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Hands of Hell for this particular movie, or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at 7th Letter Productions. 7th is spelled with a 7 in place of the T. And that's where I post everything. And it's connected to, you're welcome to follow me on either of those, Gianna Lutz. And I post all of my movie stuff on my personal page too. Those are the three main ways there the three main pages, but it makes it easy because it's across all the platforms. It's that. So on YouTube, you can just go to 7th Letter Productions. It's on there too.
Nice. Tony, what about yourself?
You can find me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. You'll find there. I got to start doing it more. Maybe I'll do a review of Hands of Hell on there. I had Tony Has 9 Fingers on X, which I hardly ever use. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, which is my fastest growing social media. You'll find me there doing lives or anything, so follow me there mostly. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And, of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show every Tuesday, well, most Tuesdays, whether we have an awesome guest or it's just horror movie talk. If you want, we do have some new merch up there. I know Kevin posted everything. It's on TeePublic.
Yeah, I went the cheap way out, and I used an AI art generator. I just started typing in weird stuff, and I got some really cool designs.
Yeah, anyway. Definitely. So if you want to support the podcast in that way, you can get some cool merch.
Yeah, money goes back because we have to pay for StreamYard, stuff like that. So money will go back into that so we can pay for this stuff. And, we appreciate it either way. But yeah, so go check that out.
Evan,
Yes.
what is your social medias?
A Knuckle on Instagram, besides doing the show with the lovely Tony Has Nine Fingers. I also, yes, this is Majestic Beard, getting more and more majestic week by week. I also do Black and White Fright, which is just a classic horror podcast. I'm also part of That Strange Show, which is open discussion, mostly around horror. And we finally have an actual date. So the release of The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter is going to be on October 1st. So the first episode, which I'm going to ruin it, it's going to be The Shining, will be October 1st. So Nancy Ann Ritter is, I don't know if you know her, I don't know, but she was in the original Scream. She was one of the bathroom girls in Scream. She doesn't know anything about horror. She does the conventions and everything, and she doesn't know anything about horror at all. So me and my friend Jeremy are schooling her.
I'm going to cut you off, but we almost had her in this movie.
Oh, really? Yeah. So she doesn't really know anything about horror. So we're schooling her on that. So we've been recording podcasts with her. And we have a good handful recorded already. It's tough with her schedule and everything to try to set things up. But yeah, October 1st will be the first episode. It'll be available on the Wicked Horror Show YouTube, our Facebook, and it'll be searchable under Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter as well, but I'll post about it when it comes out. So thank you for watching / listening. Go check out Hands of Hell. And
like I've been telling everybody, if you want to see the awesome trailers and stuff, you definitely have to come to the lives more often, or just watch you could always watch the rerun on YouTube and stuff. But
right. It's always weird that there's a connect. There's no connect there. It's weird. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.